You know what terrifies most people more than death itself? Waking up at 70 or 80 years old and realizing you can't remember your grandchildren's names. You're taking 15 medications just to function, and you're completely dependent on others for basic tasks. You've watched it happen to people you love, and deep down you're asking yourself, is this going to be me? Because here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. We're not afraid of dying. We're terrified of spending our final decades trapped in a failing body, losing our independence, our dignity, our memories. The medical system tells you it's normal. It's just aging. Take these pills and accept it. But what if there's a completely different path, one mapped out decades ago by someone who understood human metabolism better than almost anyone? And this path has been deliberately buried because it threatens a multi-billion-dollar industry that profits from keeping you sick? I know exactly what you've been through because I've seen it hundreds of times. You've tried eating less and exercising more. You've followed the food pyramid. You've cut out fat like you were told. You've taken your medications faithfully. And yet here you are, watching your health decline year after year, feeling more tired, more foggy, more dependent on prescriptions that multiply endlessly. You see people younger than you struggling with diabetes, heart disease, dementia, and you wonder if you're next. You've probably assumed those rare individuals who stay sharp and active into their 90s just won the genetic lottery. But what if genetics has almost nothing to do with it? What if the real secret has been hiding in plain sight for over 50 years, discovered by a man who was ridiculed by the medical establishment precisely because his methods worked too well? Dr. Robert Atkins was a cardiologist who spent decades studying metabolic health and longevity. While everyone else obsessed over calories and fat grams, he looked deeper, studying what actually happens inside your cells when you eat certain foods, how your hormones respond, how your body decides whether to repair itself or break itself down. What he found was revolutionary and disturbing. The very diet recommended by every major health organization for 70 years is actually accelerating aging, destroying metabolic health, and guaranteeing we'll spend our final years sick and dependent. But more importantly, he discovered exactly how to reverse this process. How to reset your metabolism to repair itself naturally, maintain cognitive function into your 90s, preserve muscle and bone density, control inflammation, and prevent or reverse diseases we've been told are inevitable. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment right now and tell me, what scares you most about getting older? Losing your memory? Becoming physically dependent? Watching your body fall apart despite doing everything right? Write it down, because when you name your fear, you acknowledge it, and that's the first step toward taking control. Your comment will help someone else struggling with the exact same fear, feeling like they're alone. You're not alone, and by sharing your truth, you're giving someone else permission to face their fears and do something about it. Pause right now and leave that comment. Let me explain what's really happening inside your body, and why conventional advice makes things worse. Dr. Atkins discovered the human body operates on two fundamentally different metabolic pathways, and which one you're using determines whether you're aging gracefully or deteriorating rapidly. Your cells are like factories needing fuel, and they can run on two types. One type, glucose from carbohydrates and sugar, burns fast and dirty, creating metabolic waste and inflammatory compounds that damage your cells every time you use it. The other type, ketones from fat metabolism, burns clean and efficient, producing almost no damaging waste and actually triggering your cells to activate repair and maintenance systems. When you eat the standard American diet, high in carbohydrates, grains, sugar, and processed foods, you force your body to run exclusively on that dirty, inflammatory glucose fuel constantly. Every time you spike your blood sugar with cereal, a sandwich, pasta, or even a fruit smoothie, you trigger a massive insulin response that does 4 devastating things simultaneously. First, it blocks your body from accessing fat stores for clean fuel. Second, it triggers inflammation throughout your entire body, damaging blood vessels, brain cells, joints, and every organ. Third, it activates pathways that accelerate cellular aging, literally shortening your telomeres and making your biological age race ahead of your chronological age. Fourth, it prevents your cells from entering autophagy, your body's self-cleaning system where damaged proteins get broken down and recycled. Dr. Atkins observed this in thousands of patients over decades. Patients who switched to a low-carbohydrate, high-fat approach experienced something remarkable. Their inflammatory markers dropped dramatically. Cognitive function improved even in early dementia cases. Energy returned to levels from their 20s. Joint pain decreased or disappeared. Medication needs declined or were eliminated. And they maintained independence and quality of life into their 80s and 90s without typical decline. These weren't genetic anomalies. These were regular people who switched the fuel their bodies ran on and activated metabolic pathways shut off for decades by constant carbohydrate consumption. Here's the exact framework Dr. Atkins developed. This isn't about willpower or suffering through a miserable diet. This is about understanding your metabolism and giving your body what it needs to function optimally. The foundation requires precision. Reduce carbohydrate intake low enough that your body shifts from burning glucose to burning fat and producing ketones. For most people, this means keeping total carbohydrates below 20 to 30 grams daily, coming exclusively from non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and low glycemic options. This is not about cutting calories or restricting fat. You need to increase healthy fat intake significantly, getting 60 to 70% of calories from olive oil, avocados, fatty fish, grass-fed butter, coconut oil, and quality animal fats. Your body needs these fats for fuel, hormone production, cell membrane repair, brain function, and reducing inflammation. Protein is equally critical. Dr. Atkins emphasized moderate protein, roughly 20 to 30% of calories, because too much converts to glucose, defeating the purpose. You want quality protein from grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, and organic poultry, but don't overdo it. And here's the crucial part most miss. This isn't just about what you eat, but when you eat. Dr. Atkins recognized the power of intermittent fasting before it had that name. Patients who limited eating to a 6 to 8 hour window, fasting for 16 to 18 hours, experienced accelerated healing, deeper ketosis, enhanced autophagy, and significantly better results than those eating the same foods throughout the day. There's another critical component. Dr. Atkins insisted on specific supplementation because even perfect nutrition can't compensate for depleted soils, environmental toxins, and chronic stress. Essential supplements included magnesium glycinate at 400 to 600 milligrams daily, because magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions. Omega-3 fatty acids from quality fish oil, providing at least 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA for brain health and inflammation reduction. Vitamin D3, at levels maintaining blood levels between 60 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. Vitamin K2 to ensure calcium goes into bones rather than arteries. And a quality B complex for energy production and methylation pathways. These are fundamental requirements for the metabolic reset to work, and for your body to have raw materials to repair decades of damage. When you follow this consistently for several weeks, your body undergoes complete metabolic transformation. Your mitochondria multiply and function more efficiently, giving you more energy and mental clarity. Your brain runs on ketones, the preferred fuel for optimal cognitive function and protection against neurodegeneration. Inflammation drops dramatically. Insulin sensitivity improves, often reversing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes within months. Body composition changes, losing excess fat while preserving lean muscle. Most importantly for longevity, you activate genes associated with extended lifespan and disease resistance, while turning off genes associated with inflammation, cancer, and accelerated aging. Dr. Atkins documented patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s essentially reversing biological aging markers by 10 to 20 years. People came off insulin, stopped taking statins and blood pressure medications, regained cognitive sharpness, eliminated chronic pain, and rediscovered energy from decades earlier. The medical establishment attacked him viciously, calling his work dangerous, claiming eating fat would kill people, ignoring actual results. Why? Because a population that controls their own metabolic health, reverses chronic disease through nutrition rather than prescriptions, maintains independence without endless medical interventions, is not profitable. If this resonates with you, if you're seeing how the pieces fit together, subscribe to this channel right now. We're going to continue breaking down exactly how your metabolism works, how to implement these protocols in real life with practical strategies, how to optimize results, and how to reclaim the vibrant, independent, disease-free life you deserve. Hit subscribe because you're part of a community refusing to accept conventional wisdom that's killing us. understanding we have far more control over our health than we've been led to believe. The beautiful thing is, it's never too late. I've seen people in their 70s transform completely within 6 months. Cognitive decline reverse when families planned for nursing home care. People who hadn't walked without pain suddenly hiking with grandchildren again. Your body has incredible capacity to heal when you give it right conditions. Every day running on clean ketone fuel instead of inflammatory glucose is a day your body repairs damage, reduces inflammation, optimizes function, and resets dysfunctional pathways. Take one concrete step today. Clean out your pantry. Plan meals focused on healthy fats, moderate protein, and low-carb vegetables. Order essential supplements and commit to taking them daily. Schedule your eating window for at least 16-hour fasts. Whatever feels right, take that step today. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but nothing changes until you take action. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people stay stuck forever, watching health decline, watching fears become reality, wishing they had started sooner. Don't be that person. Start today with one action moving you toward the life you want. Hit that like button if this opened your eyes. Share this with someone struggling, someone afraid of aging, someone who needs to hear there's a different path. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is give information that could transform someone's final decades from suffering to vitality. Your health is not a genetic sentence or inevitable decline. It's a daily choice, and you have far more control than you've been led to believe. Now go take that first step and prove it to yourself.